Hello! Today we will show you how to simulate movement through an infinite landscape using Spline Wrap deformer. First, let's make a landscape that we will scroll infinitely. Create a plane, go to the Object tab, reduce the width to 200 centimeters, and zoom in the default camera. Open the asset browser, search for soil, drag and drop the Earth 02 material onto the plane in the Object Manager, close the asset browser, go to the Tag tab, check the seamless box, and set the tiles V to 2, since the height of our plane is twice its width. Create a cloner by clicking on the cloner icon, open the asset browser, search for grass, drag and drop some grass and flower models onto the cloner in the Object Manager to make them children of the cloner, and close the asset browser. Select the cloner in the Object Manager, go to the Object tab, change the mode to Object, drag and drop the plane from the Object Manager into the Object field, switch the instance mode to the multi-instance since we need to create a large number of clones. Increase the count to 1000, go to the Transform tab and set the RP to -90 degrees. Let's make a spline along which the plane will scroll. Create a rectangle spline by clicking on the rectangle icon. Go to the Object tab, switch the plane to ZY, and reduce the width to 180 centimeters and height to 20 centimeters, so that the total width of the spline is equal to the width of the plane object. In our case, it is 400 centimeters. Now we will create and set up the Spline Wrap deformer that will make the plane scroll along the spline. Create a Spline Wrap deformer by clicking and holding on the band icon and choosing Spline Wrap from the pop-up palette, and make the Spline Wrap deformer a child of the plane. Go to the Object tab of the Spline Wrap deformer. Drag and drop the rectangle from the Object Manager to the spline field and set the axis to -Z. Select the plane in the Object Manager, go to the Object tab, set the orientation to +X, reduce the width segments to 1, increase the height segments to 20, and zoom in the default camera. Select the Spline Wrap deformer in the Object Manager, go to the Object tab, and drag the slider of the offset property forth and back. The plane scrolls along the rectangular spline like a conveyor belt. This is what we need. Let's animate the offset property. Make sure that the time slider is at frame 0 and the offset is set to 0%, and click on the diamond to the left of the offset property to create the first keyframe. Then move the time slider to frame 90, set the offset to 100%, create the second keyframe, and go to the start of the timeline. Open the timeline dope sheet and switch to the linear playback mode so that the animation plays at a constant speed. Close the timeline dope sheet. Now we will add an animated object above the scrolling landscape. Open the asset browser, search for butterfly, drag and drop the butterfly model into the viewport, close the asset browser, zoom in the default camera, and adjust the position of the butterfly by dragging it in the viewport. Limit the timeline to frame 89 instead of 90 to ensure a smooth transition from the ending to the starting frame, creating a continuous loop. Press the play forwards button to test the animation. This is what we got after rendering. Thank you for your attention, subscribe to the channel and put your finger up.